All right, this is English 373, week 5, part 7. And the same rules apply. Oh, I did. By the way, I forgot to tell you. There's a play. There's a thing I put up above in the playlist that I put there, and then I forgot to tell you about. But there is. I don't know if for those of you actors in the room might know that a lot of actors are pretty superstitious. They believe in things like ghosts and curses and stuff. And because Macbeth is a play that involves witches, many actors think that you shouldn't say the word Macbeth out loud because it will cause your play to be cursed. And there's a long-standing theater tradition that if you say the name of the play, that would be bad. So it's just like a famous thing about how the play is cursed. It's cute. It's silly. I don't know. One time I was teaching this play and I did have a student come up with a broken leg, and I worried that I said Macbeth too many times and that's why they broke their leg. But that's not true. That didn't happen. I mean, it's true that a student had a broken leg, but I don't think I caused it. Probably not. Um, so once again, I think you should rent the movie. I also think once again, read a summary of Coriolanus before you get started. And actually, I'll tell you this: is one of the most important things about Coriolanus. There's a very there's some again same kind of issues you see with Macbeth and in all Shakespeare plays. There's some confusing shit in this. Once again, it seems like there's a lot of characters, but there's not many people you have to pay attention to. Coriolanus is your main character, and his enemy is Aufidius. His mother is named Volumina. His wife is Valeria. That can get confusing. And there's like a senator that kind of looks out for him, and that dude's name is Meninius. And then there's these two other new senators, Brutus and Sicinius. So there's some stuff you got to keep track of. It's a little tricky. The movie will make it easier. A couple of things to know. The most important thing to know about Coriolanus is his name, because this will get real confusing real fast. So I'm going to recommend that you write this piece of information down because you're really going to need to know this because you will be very fucking confused. But you can handle this. You can handle this. You are all used to watching superhero movies where people have two names. You know that there's Bruce Wayne, and then Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, right? You know that there's Peter Parker, and Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. So you can handle this. There is a guy, when you start reading the play, you will hear about a guy named Caius Marcius. Caius Marcius will win a great battle at a city called Coriolis. In honor of his victory, he gets a new name, Coriolanus, because he won a battle at Coriolis, but his birth name is Caius Marcius. So it's very, very, and it switches. Like, you know how like in plays they put like the name of the character before they speak? That's going to switch on you, and it's going to get confusing. You're going to see that he's labeled as Caius Marcius, blah, 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 blah. And then later on, you can have this Coriolanus, blah, blah, blah. Same dude. Caius Marcius is Coriolanus, just like Bruce Wayne is Batman and Peter Parker is Spider. Now it's not a secret identity, but they honor him they do a big public ceremony and they give him a new name, and it's just a thing you could do in ancient Rome. We don't do it nowadays, but you can handle it. You've had friends that got married and changed their last name. You can handle this. Caius Marcius and trans people change their name. You can handle it. It's fine. It's kind of stupid that most people just your parents give you a name and then you're just stuck with it forever. Like Jeff Clock, really? Um, but Caius Marcius is Coriolanus. So just please, you know what to do? I don't. You're probably God. Are you printing these plays out? I think you should print it out, but I didn't tell you to do that, and I bet people don't do that. But if you're printing the play out, I would just make a little note at the top: Caius Marcius equals Coriolanus. It's going to help keep the thing straight for you. Okay, cool. So I'd read a summary of the play. I would watch the movie, and then only after you've done those two things would I bother going to read the actual play. The play's quite long. It's almost twice the size of Macbeth. It's big. Although the movie's the same length. Yeah, and I think that's Coriolanus, and I think we can get started. There are a couple of subjects I'm interested in talking about. The other thing you need to know about Coriolanus. What's going on sort of historically and at the time is a little bit important. Number one, there is famine. There's not enough food to go around. And so you have a lot of poor people demanding food. The rich people seem to have a lot of food and they're not sharing it with the poor people. So there's a bit of a kind of like Occupy Wall Street. Poor people are angry that they're not getting enough. They're not getting fed. And the rich people are like, you only get a little bit of bread. But then it seems like the rich people have a lot of bread. And so there's fighting over famine and resources. This is one of the key things the play is about. One of its themes is class warfare. That's one of the reasons I like teaching it. I think it's fun to teach because it's very much about the rich one percenters versus common everyday people. And it's Shakespeare, and so one of the things that Shakespeare does really well is he doesn't make it simple. It's not just like the rich people are all assholes and the poor people are our heroes who will get the food. Right? It's not Bug's Life. Actually, I really like. I didn't mean it's not Bug's Life. I really like Bug's Life. That's one of my favorite Pixar movies, actually. Not a big Pixar guy, but I like Bug's Life. I'm like a Miyazaki guy. Give me. I like 2D anime. I don't like 3D animation. I like 2D. I want to see Totoro. I want to see Mononoke and I really like Ponyo, even though that's like people don't like the movie, but I like that movie. Anyway, am I getting off track? A little. So it's about class warfare. Um, and so that's like a key thing going on in the play. But Shakespeare makes it, as always, just like with Malcolm and Macduff versus Macbeth. I don't really know. Like I don't. Obviously, we don't love Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, but they're kind of interesting. But then I don't like Malcolm and Macduff either. Same thing here. It's like it's not easy to choose between. Do you think the rich people are right or the poor people are right? It's Shakespeare makes things complicated. It's hard to. It's Shakespeare's like real life. In the movies, usually it's like this is the good guy, cheer for him. This is the bad guy, hiss at him. But in real life, people are fucking complicated. And in Shakespeare is like real life. People are fucking complicated. So that's one of the key things the play is about. Like Macbeth, it's also about a soldier who's great on the battlefield but bad at home. And I mentioned there's two other Shakespeare plays, Antony and Cleopatra and Othello, which is about the same idea. But Coriolanus and Macbeth are linked in that way. Both Coriolanus and Macbeth are great soldiers, and both Coriolanus and Macbeth do not do well at home. Both Coriolanus and Macbeth are bothered by women. This Lady Macbeth is one of Shakespeare's greatest characters, who is also a woman. Volumina, Coriolanus's mom, is also one of Shakespeare's greatest characters, and she's a woman. Probably, by the way, is played by the same actor. The same Shakespeare must have found a boy actor who is amazing because in very quick succession he writes Macbeth, uh, Antony Cleopatra, which is Cleopatra, and then Cleopatra Shakespeare's greatest, one of the greatest creations ever, and then and Volumina, and there's a couple of other ones, this Rosalind and this kind of thing, but I don't usually teach the comedies because I don't teach the comedies. I don't teach the comedies really because I find that trying to get people, I can get people to be interested in Shakespearean tragedy because I think everybody gets the violence and the bloodshed and the death, but like getting them to laugh at Shakespeare jokes is harder. You saw that with the Porter scene. Like it's kind of funny, but it's funny, but it's not like I don't know. I just find it harder to teach comedy. I also don't watch a lot of comedy, so I'm not good at comedy. The only comedies I like are like old-fashioned comedies that I don't know. Anyway, I'm not getting into that. I'm not good at comedy. Um, okay, so Coriolanus is one of the things Coriolanus is about is class warfare. So we're going to be looking into kind of class warfare stuff. The other thing Coriolanus is about um, is that same kind of masculinity stuff that we saw in Macbeth. And I'll be talking in a lot more detail and about women, the relationship between men and women and masculinity. Yeah, and those are kind of the two main subjects I want to kind of be on the lookout for and that you should be thinking about when you check out the movie. Okay, cool. This seems to be going pretty smoothly, and yeah. Okay, I think I'm gonna just do one more video, and then I'm gonna be done for the end. Ending a little early today because I went a little long last time. I'll see you in one more video, and we'll pick it up. All right, yeah.